distinguished auditorium. I would like to jump a little bit on the programs and on the challenges which is going to the European Commission today and also for the next years. The new terms of the European Commission are two. The one is innovation. We need innovation, of course, in our life. And the second is the efficiency, because we would not like to repeat some dogmas. We would like to be efficient in the use of water for different purposes. Therefore, there is needed to have some effective instruments in order to follow this way and to give some successful examples and to give some successful results, finally, as an added value for the benefit of the society. One of that is the Water Supply and Sanitation Technology Platform. Maybe you know that about 7-8 years ago, the Commission was intending to establish so-called technology platforms. At the moment, we have 17 technology platforms. One of them is the so-called water platform. The organization of this water platform is starting with a board, of course, and, which is very important is the MSMG, the Member State Mirror Group within the Water Supply Technology Platform, which is the board of the delegates from the different member states and candidate countries. At the moment, we have, I think, 18 members in the MSMG group. And I have the honor now to be the chairman since last year for this group. And when I started my chairmanship, the members are originating mainly from Central Europe and Western Europe. And my initiative was and is still to incorporate more the Southeastern and Eastern European countries. And at the moment we have new members as policymakers, of course, from different countries, from Bulgaria, from Slovakia, from Hungary, from Czech Republic and Poland. And we are searching, especially also here in Serbia and Croatia, to find proper persons to represent their countries. We have also in this water supply, we have totally 6 pilots, which are more or less challenges. Water use in coastal zones, because we have big problems in Europe, especially in the Mediterranean area, to use the water, fresh water in the coastal zone. We have urban areas as everywhere, of course, agriculture as the most water user worldwide, the industry, because industry needs water, but from there are different demands on the quality, which is important for industry, like beverage industry needs high quality, beer industry, of course. But on the other hand, different industrial parts, textile industry needs another type of water. Then we have the degraded zones, which is coming also with the climatic change. And climatic change is more or less an own pilot, but also is focused on the transversal line. In the transversal line, I would go to the TF MAR, M-A-R, which means Managed Aquifer Recharge, which is an important instrument to fight against water scarcity. Managed Aquifer Recharge means artificial groundwater recharge. We have a lot of quarrels and a lot of discussions in the water supply technology platform, especially with the French. They would like to treat all the water, but we would like to have natural water, to have artificial groundwater recharge. Especially in the southern part of Europe, we have the problem that in winter time, we have a tremendous overflow of water because all the precipitation and high precipitation is falling down in winter time. But in summertime, we have the scarcity. One very important example is Montenegro. For instance, Montenegro, we have in the Kotor Bay, in Lovćen Mountain, we have 5 to 8 meters of precipitation, but within short time. So we have in winter enough water, but in summer we have scarcity because all the water is seeping down immediately and is moving towards underground to the sea. And there is a big challenge also for the scientists, maybe to catch the fresh water before mixing with the seawater. And the mixing is not in the sea. Mixing is always in the karst aquifer, worldwide. I know it from Turkey. In Turkey, in western Turkey, we have some traces of seawater up to 25 kilometers in the inland. So the mixing is in this aquifer. And there are so many investments made which are completely wrong. In Greece, for instance, to catch the water and expecting by catching the water at the seashore that the salinity will decrease. Salinity doesn't decrease anyway because the mixing is coming from the aquifer itself. Now, generally for the application of artificial recharge, we have two presuppositions. The one is we need the availability of water to be infiltrated. If we have no water for infiltration, we cannot apply artificial recharge. And the second is we need permeability of rock. If we have a rock which is very massive with no permeability, we cannot infiltrate. So these are the two conditions we have to know. There are two possibilities to have artificial recharge in hard water, in hard aquifers, but also in granular aquifers. Mainly for water supply in Europe, we are using artificial recharge in granular aquifers. And the second is that in coastal aquifers, we are intending also to catch the water, maybe even from submarine springs in wintertime when the water is completely fresh water, to store the water in an aquifer which is not connected to the sea and to use the water in the summertime. One example is given in the eastern part of Peloponnese in Greece. Now I'm sorry I have to jump back. Well, I'm coming back now to the member state mirror group. Member state mirror group is some kind of acting as a European network on water management. Since we would like to have policymakers in the group, which are representing the countries, which are giving the input of the interests and the necessities of the different countries, we have to compile these interests and we have to transmit these interests to the Commission and to give some recommendations to the Commission. Up to now, we have some very good recommendations. One is the artificial groundwater recharge, which is included in the 7th framework program. And the second is the more intensive work on transboundary water management. But we have new ideas also. The second is that the member state mirror group is supporting the water sector for European Innovation Partnership on Water. This is a very, very new program. I will come some minutes later on that. We have also a very important thing in the MSMG is a very high standard of communication. I mean, we are meeting us, but we have always communication via internet and so on. And it is necessary that the representatives from the different countries, they should be able to decide some common approaches on the table of meeting, and not only to ask back, I have to ask the minister or somebody else. So they must be in a position that they can decide. Now I'm coming to two programs of the Commission which are actually discussed. One program is the Joint Program Initiative on Water, which was initiated by Spain. When Spain has a presidency 2 years ago in the European Union, they wanted now to have more harmonization of the national research programs. On the one hand, the WSSTP is very much, is of course research driven, but very much directed to the industry. But the JPI is very much directed to the administration of the different countries. So we have different approaches there of changes. The bio-based economy, which is one future aspect, would change also the question of infiltration, for instance. When you cut the forest, of course you have other infiltration conditions. You have maybe more surface runoff and less infiltration to the underground. We are looking for a balance of ecosystems to achieve health water systems, which means that we would like to avoid that every water for human consumption is treated. If it's not necessary, we will not treat, which is very costly on one hand, and secondly, we would like to have natural water for the human consumption as far as possible. I'm sure it's not possible everywhere, but where it is possible, we should follow this way. And of course, water supply and demand. The end use of water has different demands on the quality of water. Drinking water, very high quality. For irrigation, it's not necessary to have a high quality, or for other users, for industry and so on. And the most new program is the European Innovation Partnership. This was created in May of this year, and MSMG was invited by the DG Environment to participate in a high level in this program. It's a big honor for me. And we had the first meeting in July this year in Brussels. And when we went out, DG Environment gave more or less the order to get some comments on the draft of this program, which was written by the EIP, by the DG Environment, until end of August. I collected all the comments from the different partner states, and last week I transmitted these comments to the DG Environment. And we will have the next meeting in October. And in autumn this year, they would like to establish a secretary for this program, since we need also some money, of course, for that, because especially the countries Eastern and Southeastern Europe, they are not able to send somebody to meetings, to frequent meetings in Brussels, not having money for that. And they promised that they will have money for that. This is the most new one, because in this EIP, which is a part of the European flagship program for 2020, they would like to push all the ideas. And it is driven by the DG Environment, but supported by DG Research and Innovation and by the DG Regio. DG Regio is, of course, those parts who is giving the most money, hopefully. This European partnership on water is divided in 3 parts: water for urban areas, water for rural areas, and industrial water use. Of course, there are not limits in between, because we have, of course, some overlapping in between. Now we come to the challenges. All the challenges which I am giving now in a short way are included, of course, in the European Innovation Partnership. The most important for and of course for the auditorium, because we are on groundwater discussing here, is the groundwater utilization. We need a good protection of groundwater. Many things has been done and has been reported also during the Congress here, especially for nitrates, for pesticides, for heavy metals. It is necessary to have a good program. The question of climatic change, so it's overstressed a little bit, this term. We have to decide if we would like to have a mitigation or adaptation, or both. Because mitigation, we have to decrease, of course, the sources of the climatic change anyway. But on the other hand, we have also to adapt on the present situation of climatic change. But in my opinion, we have to combine both. Not only to go to adaptation and to say, okay, doesn't matter if we have change, if we have water scarcity, we are looking on scarcity only, but we have to look also on the sources of water scarcity. And the final, which is a tragedy, of course, the Fukushima accident. Many of the countries worldwide are taking only surface water, even they have a lot of groundwater reserves. I remember in Brazil, I worked in Brazil, they were using all the surface water treated with a very high cost and finally a cubic meter of water was more than $1 US. And in the vicinity, it was plenty of groundwater, which can be easily protected because it was not settled. And even in Europe, in Ireland, I saw they are pumping groundwater into the river and then to use the river water, which is stupid, I would say. Fukushima accident shows that, for instance, the water supply of Tokyo is dead. because the big reservoirs are totally contaminated by the long-lived isotopes of cesium and strontium. Strontium-90, cesium-137 has half-life within more than 100,000 years. You can forget. You cannot extract these isotopes there. On the other hand, we know from the Chernobyl accident that these isotopes will be stored in the soil zone. They are retarded in the soil zone, and at that time, we did not have any effect of these dangerous isotopes in the groundwater. So this is, I think it's a tragedy, of course, but on the other hand, it is a chance to convince also policymakers to go from surface water as far as possible to groundwater. Groundwater use is much more effective, much more safe, and maybe in some cases it's not necessary to treat. I think this is the best auditorium to say these sentences. So, transboundary aquifers. We have heard a lot of transboundary aquifers. I will not repeat. In my opinion, we have in the past and also at present a lot of conflicts in the using of transboundary aquifers. One example is Kars aquifer between Turkey and Syria. When Turkey is using all the water there by hundreds of boreholes, the big karstic spring north of Syria is nearly dry. So, of course, that is necessary to have working group how to use transboundary water. And I think also it is necessary, and from as far as I know, it is started already in the former Yugoslavia with the new republics to have transboundary water management in different places. I will give only one example, which maybe is a very sensitive one, which is the use of water in the southern part of Bosnia-Herzegovina in Trebinje area, where you have the big reservoir. Then you have the water down to the sea in Croatia, where you have the turbine and the use of the water for production of energy. And then the water is transported, as far as I know, to the northwestern part of Montenegro for drinking water. So we have three countries, and this very sensitive use of water in order to manage it properly. And it is necessary to have this task in the first page. Well, risk assessment, we have heard also yesterday and also today that it's necessary when we speak on the Water Framework Directive to look on the vulnerability and on the risk. Vulnerability is more or less a question of hydrogeological mapping, hydrogeological investigation, how permeable is the aquifer, how vulnerable is the aquifer. It's not the water vulnerable, it's the aquifer is vulnerable. And then we have to look for the potential hazards which are in the region. And the product of vulnerability and hazard give you the risk. And the planners are not interested on the vulnerability, the planners are interested on the risk, what we can do without risk. And we have to think, and this is also a very important factor for the Framework Directive, we have to change from the source protection to the resource protection. I always give the example, when you have the source protection, you are staying at the spring and you are looking on the recharge area and you say, this and this is not possible, this is forbidden and so on. You will give a protection area. But if you are on resource protection, you are on the mountain looking down and say, what we can do without influencing the quality of water. And we, in Austria, we developed also two different models. One for the high alpine systems, which is working very well, which is including the infiltration and also the exfiltration. Because if you use only the infiltration, you will not have a very good picture of the aquifer. But if you have also the exfiltration with the changes in discharge, in chemical constraints, and in temperature, you have a very good view how is my aquifer. Quality assurance models are also very important. I will coming to the last point, which is the monitoring. Monitoring, and we reflect also again to the Water Framework Directive, is one of the most important things in order to know in a long period the characteristic of aquifers, and how to proceed with the utilization in the future. In Austria, we started very early, and we have now, from the shallow groundwater, a monitoring time of 20 years. So we started, as far as I know, in the beginning of the 90s. So we have a lot of data, and we can work very well with that. It was not the international pressure, it was the national pressure to do this. Now I'm coming to the final statements, the development of clusters and networks. It is necessary to make networks in order to bring people together, to bring the opinion together also, to discuss different opinions, to have critical remarks, and what is very important, which I would stress very much, to have a stronger cooperation between research and economy. Because I'm coming from research, and I remember in 20 years, 30 years ago, we are not working for the economy, we are working research. And what with the research, what happens with the research was not our job. So, but now it is necessary that the research are working for the application, for industry, for the economy, of course also for the public administration, it's clear. But we have also to work for the business. And on the other hand, economy is invited to accept the new development of the research. And if we can combine this, we are on the right way. And we made in Austria this network, not Austria only, but also with Slovenia, Croatia, and the northern Italy with Friuli. In order, we carried out more than 50 projects in order to bring together the business and the research. It was a good success, and we want also now in the European scale with the MSMG, with the members at Mirror Group, to extend this network in Europe, but especially also in the East and Southeast Europe. Secondly, it is necessary to have a competence building in the business partners, because it's necessary that research is giving not only the results, but also the methods to the business people, that they can work with that. And this is important also for the future competition on the free market for the business people. There are a good combination, and I learned, I think Jaroslav Czerny is something, we have research and application in one house. I mean, this is very clear that this is the best option. Finally, I will come to the water pool, which is an Austrian organization working with competence from the research and also to the economy. The shareholders are 50% from research, 50% from economy. It is necessary that, and we are intending now to have this water pool as an instrument for the MSMG model, which can apply for the whole Europe, and to develop also demonstration sites. I said before that in the EIP there are new challenges for European research, and they would like to have also innovation sites. Innovation sites, it means where all the partners, maybe 20 or even more, are working on a larger project. And I put one example on this proposal. This is the Southern Danaric Sea, or Southern Danaric coastal area. So starting maybe from Split until to Preveza in Greece, in order to put together all the problems they have. For instance, seawater intrusion we have there. We have there the problem of transboundary water management. We have the industry, especially in Montenegro. We have the agriculture everywhere. We have the touristic development. So it's a very wide field of application. And I see the function of regional platform. Maybe the delegates in the different countries, they have the duty also to find stakeholders which are sitting in the same boat then. And the link to the European programs. Finally, my final statement is that I see that in Europe we have a lot of different instruments to fight against the new problems. We should coordinate it more. For instance, we have the European Commission instruments, which I explained now. We have United Nations organizations from UNESCO to FAO to UNDP and so on. We have the big water organizations like IWA and others, Euro. We have the investment banks. So it is necessary to put more together to have the most proper benefit for the different regions and for the different countries. Thank you for your attention.